Hello students, Mr. John here. Let's take a look at concepts for a two-hand front choke. Okay, so this is a typical attack when someone's like very angry with you and they want to get a hold of you. Okay, so as this comes in and the attack is applied, again, they can basically be doing three things. They can be pushing you back, they can be pulling you forward, or they can basically be holding you in place. Okay, so when they pull, they might pull you slightly to the left or slightly to the right. If they push, they may push you to the left or push you to, but basically they can push, they can pull, or they can stand still. All right, now our base technique for this depends on whether our hands are up or our hands are down. If our hands are down, we're going to do thrusting wedge. So thrusting wedge, we're going to put our hands together in prayer position, and we are going to drive them up and into his face. Now, we're going to utilize what we call wedge blocks. So if you press your hands together and shoot them towards his nose, all right, you'll see that your fists and your hands and wrists are really close together, but your elbows are flared out, and that's exactly what we do to create the wedge. And what we're going to do is just force his arms out to the side as we move through towards his face. So drive those out. Now, don't just touch your hands together, actually press into them. That'll give your forearms more stability and more strength. So drive that in. Now, as soon as you're about to reach his face, you open your hands and you blast him in the face. So this is twin palm strikes to the face with 10 fingers potentially getting into his eyes. So we're not just trying to pick an eye, we're hitting him as hard as we can in the face, hitting him in the nose, driving his head back, and hopefully we also get a couple of fingers in an eye, in his eyes. All right, so we launched stepping in with your, it doesn't matter, you can step in with either foot, but whatever foot's forward, you have to continue doing the technique with that side dominant. So if you step in and then you step forward with your right foot, you're going to do a right elbow and a right claw. If you step in with your left, then you're going to do a left elbow and a left claw. All right, so here's the stances. We're going to do a forward bow, then a neutral bow, and stay in that neutral for the drop, but we're going to bend our knees. We're not just going to claw with our hands and our elbow. We're going to pull it from the shoulder and drop as we do it to create as much power as possible. All right, so as Chase grabs me, I drive his head back, grab his arm, snap his head back, and then drop the heel palm claw into the face. See how I have him latched up here. All right, this is called anchoring. Take that arm and stick it to your belt, and then don't let it loose. Okay, so that'll give you an element of control over him. Make sure you hold it. You don't want to let it go and have him come around and start getting you in a bear hug from the front. Okay? All right, so as he comes in, I come up underneath, drive into the face, get those hands off. I see me step in directly between his legs. Don't step off to the outside. Go straight in so your foot ends up right between his 2 feet. Then check him down. See how I pulled his head down and in? I can lift a little bit to add power to the elbow and then drop to add power to the claw. Now from there, I can check his leg, scoop his groin, step behind him for a takedown, or have fun and try out different things from there. Now, the next thing is, well, what if my hands are above his? So if my hands are above his and he's on me, then I'm not going to come down underneath. I'm going to come down from up top. Because remember, we have this circle here, and we have a northern hemisphere and a southern hemisphere. So when he's choking me, if my hands are up, I don't want to have to waste all this time to finally get moving. So we use what we call point of origin movement. I like to use a little acronym, POOM, P-O-O-M, point of origin movement. All right, so as he grabs me, my hands are up this time. What are my choices? Well, I can do attacking, mace of aggression, step in, pin his hands, hammer, check, elbow, elbow. All right, so my hands are up, he's choking me, I come down, and as I come down, I'm going to block and try to get his right arm into his left arm so I can grab. So this puts us pretty much in the same position as lapel grab, like in Twinkle Monk. All right, now, advanced students, you can add a kick to that. All right, so this is basically just doing shield, conquering shield off a two-hand grab instead of a one-hand grab pinned against the wall. Right, so from here, I come in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I can do whatever from there and have fun. All right? Okay. Next thing, our hands are up. Now, a person cannot apply force in every direction at once. He can't be pulling, pushing, moving you left, moving you right, all at the same time. Okay? His force is going to be in one direction. So if sometimes if he's squeezing in, you can just step back, and that'll release the energy of his thumbs pressing in on your windpipe for a split second. And did you see how it pulled him in and off balance? Okay, so just that sometimes. Stepping back, dropping your weight. Most important thing, get balance, drop your weight. All right, get his arms straight. Boom, 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 boom. Whatever you want from there. All right, so hands are up. We can also do hooking wings. And you'll see hooking wings and our other technique have a lot of the same elements. So thrusting wedge, boom, and then upward elbow, downward claw. You'll notice in hooking wings, boom, 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 upward elbow, downward claw. Okay, so they're basically the same technique. It's just off of a different starting situation, slightly different starting situation. All right, so my hands are up. The first thing I want to do is step back with my left foot and then cap back with my right and drive his hands down. Again, he can't apply pressure in every direction at once. If he's preventing me from hitting up, I can probably hit his hands down. If he's preventing me from driving his hands down, I can probably hit his hands up. Okay? So don't panic if what you try doesn't work the first time. Just realize he can't apply pressure in every direction at once. So if downward didn't work, at least it occupied him for a split second, and then try upward. It's not ideal, but you have to be able to go from plan A to plan B in your head at speed. All right, so 1, boom. I check his arms off. I step back now. When you do that, don't let your arms get behind you. Keep them in front of you. Because if he is trying to headbutt you in the face, all right, or he stumbles forward because he's been drinking or whatever the case may be, right, you can bring his forehead, boom, right into your face and break your own nose and knock out your 2 front teeth. And we don't want any of that stuff happen. So from here, hands stay in front so they can stop that momentum if we need to, which takes us right into bridging the gap. All right, so we're here, right? We check down. Now, if we have room, we kick, hammer, roll the back fist, then snap up and drop down. All right, so hooking wings, hook, kick, hammer, back fist, elbow, claw. Now I see this a lot. We make this little act. Don't do that. Well, you have to hit them hard, which means you need to move the articulation from your elbow to your shoulder, and you need to get your body moving your shoulder. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. See, 3, roll, and then drive it in. Okay, with a little bit of a pivot and maybe a little bit of a weight shift forward. Then snap that elbow up and then claw down. All right, so hands are up. You know, we can 1, 2, 3, 4. We can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, going back. All right, we can do the same thing. If our hands are up or going back. All right, but the trick is set your weight. Now, what I did that time, I went off the board a little bit. I blocked one hand off. All right, if he needs 2 hands to choke, I get rid of one of them, and I hit him in the solar plexus with the other one. And then I can go into, whatever pattern of movement that I want to do from there. All right, so now, we're in a two-hand choke. A lot of times, in movies and TVs, when somebody's being choked, they're like, all right, so if you don't think that you can pull off any fancy techniques, then I want you to just do this. Put your hands up, make an X, and collapse his arms down. Then rip through his eyes with both hands. All right? Super sweet and simple. So he's got me, right? I'm like, don't hurt me, don't hurt me. All right, make an X. Pull down hard. See how I drove him into the floor? Now his hands are now off my neck. His arms are pinned across my chest. My hands are crossed against his face, and I can just rake through his eyes and then finish him off with a punch or kick or whatever. Okay? All right. Put all that together. Now you know you have choices, so go out and have fun.